Hello, everybody. Hey, Instagram. Just wait for Facebook to get online and LinkedIn. Okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Um, so, hey. Today, we are going to be talking about the importance of developing a content strategy for your coaching or consulting business. Hello, thank you so much for joining. So feel free to drop your questions and your comments into the chat, and we can discuss them here live if you're here live, or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop your questions or comments into the comment section. I'll make sure I respond back to you, or you can shoot me a DM. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So for coaches and consultants, most often they want to know like how they can use social media to grow their business, make sales, right? And first and foremost, guys, content goes beyond social media. So definitely wanted to level set with that. And you can use a lot of different mediums to deliver content to your target market outside of social media. Hey, going above and beyond, welcome. But I want to hone in on the importance of just having a content strategy, period. So I've said this before, and you first and foremost need a strategy for your entire business. So, what is your business about? What are you selling? How are you different? Your why, right? Then your business strategy will inform your marketing strategy. Okay, so your business strategy is going to inform your marketing strategy. How are you going to get the word out about your business to your target market? How are you going to increase your brand awareness? So, your marketing strategy that informs your content strategy, right? So, business strategy informs your marketing strategy. Your marketing strategy will then inform your content strategy. And then you can have the how you will market by platform, right? Or other content outlets from there. So you kind of see how there's like levels to this or layers to this, right? If you're missing a layer, usually that's when you begin to lack clarity. Okay, so I will say for most coaches and consultants, they are missing the foundational level or the foundational layer, the business strategy part of things that informs everything else. So you have to get clear on who you are, what you do, who you serve to make this all work, right? So most people will jump right into the content piece of things, just creating all this content without that clarity. They get no traction, and then the first thing that they want to do is delegate their social media to someone else, right? So I was literally talking to a social media manager on Instagram last night. Hey Aaron. Last night, matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out at Bloom Digital Creative. She's on Instagram as at Bloom Digital Creative. We were having a conversation just back and forth, and she was like, people don't understand that as a social media manager, I'm going to still ask you for content. And I was like, I am actually glad you actually said that. And so I was like, I'm going to reiterate it. So I'm gonna tag her in this video when it's over. But I told her I was going to do it. I was like, oh my God, you actually said it out loud. Um, but if you don't know like what you're doing, who you're targeting, what your offers are, the person that just heard about your brand literally 10 seconds ago, that social media manager, isn't going to be able to tell you either, right? So, how do we come up with a content strategy for our coaching or our consulting business? We need to focus on content that's going to convert. The first thing, when we talk about content that converts, we're talking about content that is going to encourage people to take action with you, whether that be to join your list, to purchase a product, to follow you, share, like, subscribe. They are taking an action, right? So you really want your content to drive action and engagement in general, whether you have a product or a service based business, right? So this can go for everyone. You want to create content to educate, inspire, motivate, or entertain with an emphasis on the problem that you're solving and for whom. Okay. So knowing your ideal client, knowing their pain points, you can talk directly to them. And your content really should be doing the majority of the selling for you, right? How does this happen? there are a few things you need before you can really create content that converts, right? You need to know who your target market is, you need to know their pain points, and you need to have an offer. Okay? Target market, pain points, offer. If you're unclear about any of these things, your content isn't going to speak to your ideal client. It's going to be way too general. So if I ask you who your target market is and you name 3 or 4 types of people, you do not have clarity in your target market. If I ask you how do you know your audience, or do you know your audience and their pain points, and your answer is I just know, you don't have clarity in your target market's pain points. If I ask you what your offer is and how to address your target market's pain points and it doesn't, you don't have clarity in your offer. Okay. So if you don't have an offer, I honestly don't know what you're posting on social media, to be quite frank. And I say that with tough love because if you are getting traffic to your content and like your goal is to actually enroll people in your coaching program or to have a consulting engagement, then you're really just wasting traffic because you're not driving them to take the next steps with you, honestly. So, this is the time now to understand the difference between followers and potential clients. There are people that can help you to grow your following, and then there are people that can help you to craft an offer and get clients. Of course, there's a way to do both, but I see a lot of people focusing on the followers piece of things more than trying to actually get clients. So, do you want to increase your visibility? Absolutely. But increasing your visibility to the right people is more important, as well as having a solid offer for them to take the next step. So, when clients work with me inside of the Brand Builder Blueprint, social media strategy comes after we have developed their offer and validated it. This is after we've developed their signature program and we've done some foundational work on their product suite. Either we've developed their signature program or we've made some tweaks so that it better fits their coaching zone of genius and their niche. But we work together to create a content strategy, but only after we have their coaching or consulting identity flushed out, because I want you to never have to ask yourself again, what do I post on social media? Or say to yourself, I don't know what I really should be posting on social media. We want to take the guesswork out of it, right? So why do I do this with my clients? Because if you have nothing to post, or you have an offer that won't sell, then it isn't going to help you, right? So also having more followers doesn't mean they're actually going to buy from you. So we focus on cultivating a community of your ideal clients and not just followers, right? So if you're a coach or consultant and you're hiring social media assistants um, and social media coaches just so you can have a presence, just so you can keep up with a posting schedule, I hate to break it to you, that's not going to increase your sales, right? And if you aren't consistently selling your program or your offers, in my opinion, you shouldn't have a team yet. But listen, I understand, I get it. It's a lot that happens when you're a solopreneur and a lot of things to do and that sort of thing. But definitely take it from somebody who's built multiple businesses. You are the team until your business generates enough income to hire, right? But just a little tidbit for me. But let's talk about the elements that your content should have, or some tips to help you be able to put together an effective content strategy. The first is that you need to have content pillars, right? So the core topics that you're going to talk about regularly on social media. Again, if you don't have a signature program or some type of signature offering, this is going to be difficult for you because it's going to be difficult for you to really hone in on those key core topics that you would like basically put in rotation so that you know what you're going to say on social media. Number two, you need clear calls to action. What is the next step to work with you, right? Number three, you need a variety of content. Okay. Utilize as many features as possible that are relevant. Feed posts, stories, reels, videos, and according to whatever platform you're on as well. Be engaging. Okay. Don't show up half asleep. Don't show up uninterested, and you don't want to put your audience to sleep. I'm not saying you got to dance and do all this crazy stuff, but you do want to make it seem like you want to be there, at least if you're going to put content out there. The fifth thing for coaches and consultants that I feel is really important is to be visible. We need to see you in your content because coaching and consulting is a very personal type of interaction, very much engaged on a people level. The people want to see the people, right? So, people do business with people and they want to see if they actually like can work with you, jive with your personality. And so you want to make sure that you are in your content. Don't hide behind your logo. Don't just continue to post like quotes and we never see your face. I get it. You're an introvert like me. That was definitely like a hard thing to do. Especially in the beginning, I was like, I never want to be on camera. But I got over that, and with over time, I'm like talking to you guys here live, right? So it's definitely something that you can work your way up to. You don't have to go live all the time or be on video all the time, but you do need to be out there because nobody should like look at your content and be like, "Well, who's the coach?" Like that shouldn't be a question, or is that her? You think that's her? Like that shouldn't be a question, right? Um, and then also the sixth thing, get in the habit of batch creating content and choosing a schedule that works for you. It's very easy to get behind in content creation, so definitely use batching as a way to stay ahead of the game. And then seventh thing for coaches and consultants in particular, especially, your content needs to be relevant to your core offer at all times. So if you don't have a signature program, definitely make sure you check out my signature program, Blueprint Training, because I really feel like that's going to be important to help you establish a strong foundation in your business. Some things to avoid, right? Some things to avoid in the content creation realm. Allowing someone else to generate your content. Um, and I'll say this with the caveat before you've actually found your voice or your identity for your brand is a big no-no. Okay. So, like, you can definitely have VAs and assistants that help you create your content. But if you have not yet found your voice, this is not the time to do that, right? Because you then will have their voice trying to capture your voice, which they don't really even know that well. And then what actually ends up coming out is like a mistranslation over whatever you were really trying to communicate. So it's really important that you have like your messaging and how you want to be presented nailed down before you delegate that out to someone else. The second thing is not knowing your audience. So you're just posting content just to post. Like posting just to post is like kind of almost as bad as like never posting or like never really, like kind of posting once a week and then coming back 6 months later and posting again. Um, you want to make sure that you really do some research and get to know your audience so that you know what they like to see and that so you can do more of that. Um, Other things to avoid: make sure you stay on brand and don't just continue to jump on popular trends that you may see. Make sure you have a way to relate it back to what you do all the time. If you can't relate it back, that means the connection is going to be too difficult. If it's too difficult for you, it's going to be too difficult for your audience to get the connection. So, like, don't feel like you have to jump on every single trend that you see, and make sure you stay on brand. The other thing to avoid is a lot of curating versus creating. Curating means you just are continuously reposting other people's content. So, like, instead of actually creating your own, people want to see the authentic you. And so, if you're continuously just posting memes and things like that, it's not really original to who you are as a person, and people really can't get to know you. So, not saying you can't do it ever, but just don't have that be like 99.9% of your content strategy. Um, and then the last thing is not looking at your numbers. Really, really important, especially as a CEO. You want to make sure you're analyzing every step in your process to see what's working, what's not working, so that you can do more of what works and less of what doesn't. So make sure that you keep that in mind. All right. Any questions, guys? Any questions at all when it comes to developing a content strategy? I do have some examples I'm going to share with you all, but we've just been having a discussion about developing a content strategy for your business when you're a coach or consultant. And the biggest thing or biggest tip I can give of where to start is you want to make sure you have a business strategy. So who you are, what you do, and who you serve is going to be important so that you can develop a marketing strategy to get the word out about your business. So then you can develop a content strategy. And like I said, content comes in different forms. It's not just social media, so don't um, forget that, right? You can do content by through blogs, vlogs, podcasting, so many other ways, books, like everything pretty much is content these days. So don't ignore those other outlets when it comes to creating content in your business, but you have to have an understanding of what your identity is and who you're serving to make that content be effective so that you can get coaching or consulting clients. Um, but let me just show you like how content creation can kind of go a little wrong when you don't kind of have that foundation set for yourself. So let's say you are a mindset and confidence coach, right? And you help people improve their mindset, release fear and doubt, and you provide resources, right? But like we never heard what your offer was. So what are you putting on social media? Generic content, because no one knows what the offer is. It's not clear. And if no one knows what you're offering or what you're doing, how are you going to try and help people? Okay. So like maybe just putting, quotes about mindset or saying how mindset's important, but we're not really sure what to do next or what like how you're going to actually help us. Let's look at a financial coach, right? So, and by the way, these are real examples that I've seen on social media. Um, Maybe you say that you help people with budgeting and financial literacy. I see that a lot. So then your content is based up of providing generic resources on budgeting and saving. You're like, well, Chris, that sounds perfect. Yeah, but like I don't know what the offer is and if that's even relevant. Like, is that the part of financial coaching that you are focusing on? What specifically are you doing as it relates to budgeting and financial literacy? Is there a certain part? Do you do all of it? Probably not. So, again, your content needs to reflect that. And finally, looking at like a relationship coach, like let's say you help people improve relationships, right? So then you're posting facts about relationships, quotes for relationships, quotes about marriage, relationship memes, right? Um, and not knowing the problem that you solve, right? You could easily, especially with relationships, end up as entertainment. Like, are you a matchmaker? Are you helping people pre-marriage, post-marriage? Do you work with singles? Do you work with couples? If that's not coming out in your content, it's really, really unclear. So then like who is what's the offer? Who's it for? But like hopefully you guys are seeing how like generic content kind of washes over you. Like it's kind of like, okay, well, they do something with relationships, you know what I mean? Versus, oh, this person is a matchmaker that works with singles and they're going to help me find the love of my life, right? But well, however, if that's, this particular matchmaker, I'm making it up, y'all. But um, then I'm like, oh, I can say, I'm single and I'm looking for love, and this person seems like they know what they're talking about. Let me look through more of their profile, right? So that's how you have to think about content creation and creating your strategy if that's what you do, right? For that particular relationship coach, but take that back and think about how that will be relevant to you in your coaching or your consulting business. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to type them into the comment section. Please feel free to type them into the comment section. I'll make sure I respond to them. But honestly, if you want to be able to develop a content strategy as a coach or consultant, it all goes back to your foundation, right? Who you are, what problem you solve, and for whom, right? If you are having trouble answering those questions, you're going to have trouble developing an effective content strategy, okay? So if you guys are ready to learn how you can get your coaching or consulting business off the ground, you want to launch your signature program, excuse me, or you want to revamp it and master your messaging, clarify your messaging that's going to help you to create consistent income in your business, then you'll definitely want to apply for the Brand Builder Blueprint program The link for that application is, if you're watching me on Instagram, it's in my bio. So you can click in my bio and apply for the Brand Builder Blueprint. If you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, then it's in the description of this live. And it says Brand Builder Blueprint next to it. So, but any questions, guys? Any questions at all? I hope this was helpful. I think my main thing here is just making sure that you guys actually have a business strategy that's going to inform a marketing strategy. We don't want to skip the steps in that process because then you lose the effectiveness of your marketing and of your content when you don't have those things together. Any questions at all? I'm checking Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. You guys have any questions? LinkedIn, any questions? Aaron, are you still there on IG? Thanks so much for hanging out with me. All right. So I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and sign off today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. And if I don't talk to some of you, have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. And I'll see you guys back here next week. Take care.